glass cover, and today's series we want to focus a little bit more on the preventative aspect of glass cover and how it helps to abate graffiti in various communities and or private residences, private businesses, etc. It's very important to note that most people today treat graffiti as a maintenance issue. That means that the graffiti arrives on their building, on their property, whatever it may be, and they react to it happening. Whereas they clean it, it happens, they clean it. Glass cover is a preventative coating, which means that not only will it make your cleaning much easier and efficient than currently, but it's going to prevent graffiti from happening. How that happens is a form of nanotechnology. It's a little bit of a hydrophobic as well as an oleophobic coating that is put on here. The first thing you're going to notice on a preventative coating is the most important thing, is that it is perfectly clear and there is no texture. You want the vandal that is coming, when they're going to make their mark, to just think, something is not right here once the graffiti is not sticking. Otherwise, you want them to think that the wall, the brick, the plastic, whatever it is that they are deciding to make their mark on is exactly as it should be. To give you an example of what I refer to as a preventative coating, is that their tags, which are very important to them, will not sit and stay properly on the surface. It doesn't matter if it's on brick, it doesn't matter if it's on metal. So I've brought two examples for you today. One is a metal sheet. This is a sample that we've got from one of our clients. These things are out on the street right across the country. Powdered coating, red-based, metal, non-porous surface. The other coating is your regular brick, very porous surface that is used, again, across in buildings en masse right across the country, and the continent for that matter. So, what happens when somebody comes with a permanent marker? When somebody comes to it with a permanent marker, they're going to come up to the surface and they're going to start to make their mark. And they're going to notice, it disappears. And it doesn't matter what they happen to be writing. It will just fade right away and go into little balls of liquid instead. This is going to signal to the vandal that something is wrong here. What they're going to do is they might move over here and try it again, but most likely what they're going to happen is they're going to realize something's wrong with this surface, and they're going to go to the building next door or the facility or the element next door to it that might hold it better. And once they've found the surface that will hold it, they will move and do their vandalism on that building or on that surface. So in effect, what ends up happening with a coating like this is it helps to fully prevent graffiti from returning. Not only does it make it easy to use, it helps for it to prevent it from coming back. To clean this, all we would need to do, like always with glass cover products, just pure rubbing alcohol. We'd put a little bit here on a sponge, a few cents worth, and we would simply go on the surface and wipe it all away as good as new. All you would need to remove the excess now is a little bit of paper towel and some water, and the surface in a matter of seconds is as good as new. You would never be able to tell that anything happened. Before I get into the spray paint side, I want to show you how this is going to work on brick because it's very similar. We use Sharpie markers and permanent markers because the ink in these infiltrates and penetrates immediately into the brick as opposed to spray paint, which will tend to stay a little bit more on the surface. So, to illustrate this once again, you will see how it does not stay as dark as it should, and then it does start to fade. It's a little bit harder to see on the video on a brick surface, but you will see it doesn't stay as strong. Just to show you what it normally would look like on a brick, that's the depth of the color that you would normally get when you're dealing with it. That is a very different marking than you're seeing on this side. Once again, the vandals will have the same experience. Something is not working properly here. Once again, we take the rubbing alcohol, put it on top of the brick. Generally, we'd want to leave it there for a few seconds, but we'll do it very quickly for purposes of this example. And you would wash it away, never having known that there was any graffiti on this wall as well. Same results both on a very porous and on a non-porous surface. Now, Last thing is, what happens when you're spray painted as opposed to a permanent marker? You will have the same types of effect. For that, we are just going to do the spray painting in a little box. Again, coated side. What you want to notice here is that once again, it is not sticking properly as it should. You can see the liquid going in, you can even see the maze-like lines that are developed on the inside. Okay? We're going to do the same thing on the brick. Same type of reaction, although it's going to be much harder to see on the camera. In either instance, the graffiti goes on and it becomes a problem and you want to prevent it from happening. So obviously we'd like to clean it as quickly as possible, but you want to make the surfaces not very friendly for the vandal. So he thinks, I'm not doing it on this building, I'm not doing it on this box, I'm not doing it on this element any longer. Once again, to get this off, like with any of our other products we use, rubbing alcohol. You should note that because it stays on the surface, you will be able to draw a line right down the middle like that to remove the graffiti, and it will come off with your bare hands. Much faster and better to be used with rubbing alcohol. Take the other side of a sponge, put on some rubbing alcohol. Once again, as you will see, just like with the permanent marker, we completely are able to get the entire surface cleaned and coated. What you'd want to do to get rid of the matte look at the end is just spray it down with a little bit of water. That will get rid of the excess rubbing alcohol and will leave you with a surface that was exactly the same as when you started. With brick, we encounter the exact same issue. A little bit more rubbing alcohol. And we go right onto the brick, which you can see has already started to fade. As good as new. No water pressure is required for this type of cleaning. If you do want to use a little bit of water, all you would need is pretty much the flow coming out of a regular hose. I hope this has shown you a little bit more about the aspects of glass cover and the preventative aspects on how working together with our private clients, private outdoor elements, and municipalities, we can begin to diminish and completely abate graffiti in our communities.